Every single time we called action, this horse just tried to rear up and turn around and run back to its box. And so in most scenes, I'm fighting with that horse to be walking in the direction it's supposed to be walking with. It's a tricky one, because a lot of it is hidden behind a wall. His nature is very much that of a white knight. He wants to protect the innocent and do the right things. I think that definitely lends itself towards monster hunting a little bit. But due to nurture, he's created this, as I say, this wall, this stony personality to hide behind, because his father figure, Vesemir, who has taught him how to become a monster hunter, who has trained him and those other young boys who survived. That whole point is not about being a white knight. It's quite the opposite. It's about just being a mercenary, going and taking coin from people, pretending you have no emotions so they pay you more money, and not getting involved in human affairs. And Geralt does the opposite. He tries to not get involved in human affairs, but that little voice on the inside doesn't allow him to not protect someone who's in a terrible situation. And that's the special thing about Geralt. Despite everything he's been taught, despite everything that the world suggests he be, he's still this white knight character. He's a monster hunter, and that's what he should be doing. What Geralt ends up doing is quite different, and he ends up getting himself in sticky situations where he's tried to protect people, and he's just falling deeper down this rabbit hole of destiny. And destiny is pushing him along this path, and he desperately tries to step away from it. And whatever he does is actually trying to avoid all the big issues, but through trying to avoid them, he ends up even more tangled up in them. I think the hardest and most enjoyable to play at the same time was the scene at the end of episode 1. It's a fight scene. Wolfgang Stegemann and I and his team designed the fight, and it was an absolute pleasure and opportunity to, one, work with people of that quality, but also put the design together and allow my character to exist within the action, which was vital for me. But at the same time, we put together a fairly technical fight, and we had very little time to shoot it in, and we had to compete with weather and hours and differing abilities, and it was a tricky one, but we got there in the end, and Wolfgang and his team and I are very happy with the result. When we were in the Canary Islands shooting, my horse didn't make it over from Hungary because we had bad weather, so we had to borrow a local horse. And this local horse had a very different personality from my horse and wasn't a film horse. Every single time we called action, this horse just tried to rear up and turn around and run back to its box. And so in most scenes, I'm fighting with that horse to be walking in the direction it's supposed to be walking with.